So going back, obviously your heart's in WGI, and so starting with AQ in 2013, pretty young, then moving up to an organization like MCM with what they're doing, like top five pretty much every year, and then going back to Atlanta Quest. What kind of was your thought process in kind of getting a taste of, I'd hate to put this sort of, I don't know, like hierarchy or appreciation
Oh,
of
feel free.
like
No,
if
yeah,
I always
absolutely.
feel icky like praising like oh like the people that like march BD and then maybe won't again like oh, you got the taste of a winning organization and then didn't
Sure.
I hate that attitude. But the younger drum corps band nerd in myself that idolized groups like Bluecoats, I can't help but wonder why you would be up there with MCM and then come to Atlanta Quest. With no disrespect to AQ, I love AQ, but that transition, what was
Yeah.
the thought process behind that?
So when it came to me pursuing my season at MCM in 2015 in general, it was because it was like a massive goal of mine. And I had been taught by a lot of Mystique alum
Mhm.
at my high school because we were Scholastic World. And so we had the opportunity funding and because we had the name and notoriety to where we could reach out.
Mhm.
We could bring an MCM guy in to teach the snare drums, or like, hey, this guy would randomly come in and they would write drill for us. Shane Gwaltney came in
Okay.
and wrote my high school drill my sophomore year. So I had some like light connection with some of them, and it was inspiring when I was 15,
Mhm.
to the points where I was like, once I finish my summer at Spirit, like I'm going to MCM,
Mhm.
and I let everyone know.
Yeah.
I was like, prepare to see me there, like next winter, like I'm auditioning, like you should know I'm auditioning. Um, and the people at Quest knew that too. And I said that during 2013. One of our drill writers now, and at the time was a snare tech, Zach Marshall,
Mhm.
was a snare drummer at Mystique in 2011
Mhm.
during Mantra. And he taught me a lot when I was very, very young, very, very fast. And I felt I got a lot better under him. So I was like, yeah, whatever experience you had, like, I want to go check it out.
Yeah.
So I did the MCM 2015 season, and honestly, it was crazy. It was awesome. I attribute them to like the reason that I'm such a good marcher,
Mhm.
like the visual responsibilities that were asked of me, the physical strain it ended up putting on my body actually ended up hurting me a little bit in
Oh.
the future, and which is one of the reasons why I didn't necessarily go back. But like the experience was very, very hardcore, aggressive. Like let's buy into this. And there were a couple instances I had where I had the thought in the back of my mind of like, if I'm gonna do this for a long time, I want to stay at the same place. And I think my greater priority is trying to build up an organization or at least contribute my own voice to an organization for an extended period of time
Mhm.
rather than just trying to get tastes from a lot of different places.
Yeah.
So drum corps experience is a little different for me because I was just grabbing tastes.
Mhm.
Whereas indoor, I was like, I love this. Like I want to stick with it.
Mhm.
Um, when I ended up comparing my experience at AQ13 to MCM 15, I ended up just coming out with the overwhelming interpretation that my voice was going to be more heard and I would have a faster effect on what was happening in an ensemble way if I went back to my home organization,
Mhm.
and decided to contribute my time to that. And it was no disrespect at all to the MCM guys because what they were able to provide for us and the product that you get to perform and
Mhm.
the intensity with which you do it is like super unique and cool.
Yeah.
And it's a very, very like we all buy in and we're all gonna go 100% hard. And that you feel good when you do a show like that on the floor. But in the end, I was like, I want to grow something, and MCM is already in a place to where they have all the voices they need to be successful and to pursue all their stuff.
Mhm.
And I think AQ could use my voice a little bit, not in like a hoity-toity way, but I was
Yeah.
like, I've had some experience now, and I'd like to go back and share some of this. The experience of moving around between the groups was a little strange because even though I told everybody in AQ13 that I was going to leave and go to MCM
Mhm.
in 15, I got flamed a little bit by the old AQ guys
Wow.
for like leaving.
Right.
And when I didn't really let anybody know that I wasn't coming back to Mystique in 2015, that I was going to go back to Quest. That decision was made closer to audition season than I would have liked to have made it. And when I left Mystique to go back to AQ, I got flamed by Mystique.
Yeah.
And it was just like individual members. Of course, it's not a whole like carpet representation of like the whole group, but like individuals felt weird about it and emotional about it. And I'm still the marketing guy in the back of my head that's like, I'm paying for a product,
Right.
and I have a thing that I'm looking for when I pay for this every single year. And if it doesn't fit my budget or like what I'm looking for, I'm not going to buy it.
Yeah.
So
It goes back to that same freedom thing where we're the ones paying the money, and if we're, dissatisfied, it's the same thing like going to buy something and then taking it back because you didn't like it.
of course, yeah,
Yeah. That's
no doubt.
I think that's really important to remember for, maybe the young members like trying to make their way and marching their first couple years. It's like, if you're unhappy in that organization just because, they're top 5 pretty consistently, if you have especially a local group cuz you're in Atlanta, right? So
Yeah,
you are
yeah. I live in the Metro Atlanta area, 30 minutes away from AQ.
yeah, so just inherently way cheaper to march AQ than having to go to MCM every weekend.